Senator.
I just want to welcome the Minister to the House and commend Frances Black for calling for this debate and to acknowledge her service to the industry and her advocacy on its behalf as well in recent years. I would also echo the call that the request that you would meet with the Oireachtas group. I'm not a member of that group, but I know they're asking for a meeting. Angus O'Sully TD and myself have also asked for a meeting, and we would appreciate that as well. We've warned from the start of the pandemic about the potential impact on musicians. The impacts have been laid out here this evening. They're very clear. People are struggling to pay bills and put food on the table. Mental health is hitting rock bottom, and talented artists are leaving the sector in their droves. And many can't access the supports that are in place. And many of these folks, I think of groups like the big groups like Lancome and the Gloaming, whose success is, stands on the shoulders of all of those who perform in our pubs all around this country. And I would ask that, you mentioned the MIBAS scheme will be introduced again in January, but that seems to be the most accessible scheme. It appears that that's needed far sooner in order for people to get through Christmas and for people not to be in competitive dog-eat-dog schemes or for scraps to be given to them by promoters and venues and producers. Many of these are sole traders and they rely on pubs and non-ticketed gigs, as I do when on the small number of occasions that I do perform at this point in my life. I also want to talk in the minute I have, and I'll give a minute to Eugene if he wants it, about the basic income scheme. There are so many outstanding questions. I'm wondering, is what the purpose and the design of the scheme will be. Is 25 million spent in this way, not means tested, and so on? Is that the best way to spend this money? I do want to see some type of scheme that does give a weekly payment. We've called for a living wage in the past, a living wage pilot scheme, but I'm not sure the scheme that is planned, and I'm worried that it will be rushed. I'm not sure whether the scheme that is planned is what is needed. Is that the best way to spend 25 million? I'm just not sure, and I don't want to see a rush scheme that ends up really dividing artists and dividing the arts sector. Good morning.